From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
Good evening, I'm Lakshitendra Singha, and starting off, we take a quick look at the headlines.
President requests to obtain information from the official government information services without being deceived by false propaganda. The Dewlapitiya cluster increases up to 1,044. Series of instructions over the scholarship and GCE advanced level examinations. Prime Minister instructs to expand the resources of the Maritime University. Former Sri Lanka Army commander says failure to involve Sri Lanka Army in the investigations conducted on the extremists and failure to prioritize Sri Lanka Army intelligence reports have been a major reason behind the Easter Sunday attacks.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. A look at local news first. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that all necessary measures have been taken to secure the country from the COVID-19 outbreak. He made these remarks while sharing a message posted on his official Facebook page. The message shared by the president cited as, "At a time when the COVID-19 pandemic is sweeping the globe, we defeated it together as a strong nation. Today, COVID-19 is activating back in our country as before. Our health, security and other services are doing the best to save us from this pandemic." In this challenging situation, the President has urged the public to follow instructions given by the health authorities and obtain necessary information from official government information services without being deceived by the false propaganda spread by various groups. A total of 101 patients have been identified related to the Dewlapitiya COVID-19 cluster thus far. Further 731 patients were reported on the 6th of October and 202 patients were reported yesterday. Further 10 patients were reported today. Accordingly, 1,044 patients have been identified related to the Dewlapitiya COVID-19 cluster. Another COVID-19 patient identified from Vimalpura, Hangurankatha has been admitted to the IDH hospital. 20 close contacts of the patient have also been directed to the quarantine center at Tiyathalava. Furthermore, 34 patients infected with COVID-19 have been directed to the COVID-19 treatment center at Rambukkana yesterday. PCR tests have been conducted on around 150 individuals in the Gampaha area today. The close contacts of 2 employees of the Brandix institution who were identified as COVID-19 patients in Miriswatha area have also been included in the group directed for PCR tests. 5 employees out of the 7 employees who had visited a funeral in Miriswatha have also been infected with the virus. Those who attended the funeral have also been directed to PCR tests. Minuangoda police station has been temporarily closed due to the owner of the canteen of the police station reported positive for the COVID-19 virus. It has been revealed that the son of the owner is an employee of Brandix and alleges that the son had contracted the virus to his father. Around 250 individuals related to the patient have been directed to a quarantine center at the Police Training Institute in Katana. ICBT Private University has stated that one of their students have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. It has been revealed that the student has visited the ICBT Colombo campus last Sunday. Therefore, the university has requested those who had visited the ICBT Colombo campus on or after last Sunday to take necessary measures according to the guidelines given by the health authorities. Health authorities announced that an employee of the Brandix company who was previously identified from the Tonikalu Vavuniya has not contracted the virus following PCR tests. Close contacts of the COVID-19 patient reported from the Colombo Castle Street Hospital has been directed to PCR tests and currently undergoing quarantine. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Army had prepared the Pinnavala Brandix buildings to establish quarantine facilities for the close contacts of the COVID-19 patients. 300 individuals can be facilitated through this center. The Government Publications Bureau, which is established in the Government Information Department premises, will be temporarily closed from tomorrow until the 16th of October. Services of the Department of Registrar have been suspended until further notice. All the required services could be carried out online and further information can be obtained by the website www.drc.gov.lk. The curfew imposed for 18 police divisions of the Gampaha district will be further continued. Entering and exiting the curfew-imposed areas is strictly prohibited. Police operations are conducted in order to identify and apprehend those who violate the quarantine curfew. Long-distance buses will be able to travel through these areas, yet loading and unloading passengers is strictly prohibited. Also, police operations are being carried out in order to monitor whether people are adhering to health guidelines. Awareness programs are also conducted for the public. Colombo Fort Police has taken measures to conduct an awareness program on COVID-19 virus. The program was conducted under the instructions of the Western Province Senior DIG Deshabandhu Thendakone. Minister Bandula Gunawardena has said that all Sathosa and cooperative outlets in Gampaha districts will be opened from tomorrow onwards. This decision has been reached during a meeting held on the distribution of essential commodities for the people in curfew-imposed areas. A decision was also reached to open the Valisari Economic Centre. A special program has been initiated to distribute the commodities.
Welcome back as we are ready to take a look at how the rest of the world is combating the COVID-19 pandemic. Global reported COVID-19 cases topped 36.4 million and the death toll exceeded 1.06 million at present. Meanwhile, the number of coronavirus infections in Brazil has passed another milestone, recording more than 5 million cases. Brazil surpassed 5 million coronavirus infections yesterday and approaching 150,000 deaths from the disease. Amid optimism, the virus is slowing in the hard-hit South American country. However, experts have pointed out that the country may experience a second wave of the outbreak even before the first has been brought under control. The country is the third worst hit for infections after the US and India, while the country's official death toll is at 148,228, second only to the United States. Brazil has the highest number of deaths in Latin America. The state of Sao Paulo has been the worst hit with around 36,000 deaths, followed by Rio de Janeiro with about 19,000. The United States topped all countries in the world for confirmed coronavirus cases and deaths. The country reported more than 7.77 million cases and 216,000 deaths thus far. New cases in the US topped 50,000 for the first time in 5 days. The daily total of new coronavirus cases continued to climb in the US, prompting some states to impose new measures to counter rising levels of infections. India is the second country with the most cases, reporting over 6.83 million cases. In India, the number of new cases and deaths per day fell for 6 consecutive days till last Tuesday, before rising once again yesterday after recording over 78,000 cases in the last 24 hours. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Germany increased by a staggering 4,058 to more than 310,000. The reported death toll rose by 16 to 9,578, the tally showed. The case figure is the highest since 9th April this year, when cases increased by 4,885. Russia's cumulative number of coronavirus cases has grown to 1,248,619, including 21,865 deaths and 995,275 recoveries today. The country registered 11,115 new COVID-19 cases on the day, close to its all-time high daily load of 11,656 in May. French health authorities reported 18,746 new confirmed COVID-19 cases over 24 hours, a new all-time daily high and almost double of Tuesday's tally of 10,489. More than 7,500 patients are being treated in hospital for COVID-19, marking a 3-month high and increase of more than 65%. Meanwhile, global economic output was estimated to decline by 4.4% in 2020. According to a survey of 950 economic experts, from 110 countries and regions by the German IFO Institute and the Econpol Europe Research Network published yesterday. According to the IFO Institute, more than one-third of surveyed experts expected global economic output to return to pre-pandemic levels in 2022, while almost 20% forecast that the global economy would only fully recover in 2023. China was the only major economy for which the experts forecast a positive growth in 2020, with a gross domestic product increasing by 2.3%. The United States would see its GDP fall by 6.5%, while the economy of the European Union was expected to shrink by 8.4%. The survey has found that the liquidity support for small and medium-sized enterprises was regarded as the most effective economic policy measure by experts from the EU, the United States, and other advanced economies such as Japan and Canada. Economic experts in emerging and developing countries in Asia, Latin America, and Africa preferred improvements in the healthcare system. Further measures that most respondents considered as good policy tools were temporary tax deferrals for companies, short-time work, and additional childcare provision. In Germany, most of the companies affected by the coronavirus, including the country's leading car makers, heavily relied on short-term work to avoid on-laying of employees during the pandemic. And in more local stories, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today instructed to broaden the professions and educational opportunities of the streams of fisheries, marine and naval engineering in the Ocean University of Sri Lanka in accordance with the Saubhagya Dakma policy statement. The Prime Minister made these remarks while addressing a conference held at the Temple Trees with regard to the physical and human resource development of the university. The Prime Minister informed to establish the Ocean University in the Kalamatiyana area in Hambantota and develop the Faculty of Technology, which is currently located at Mattakulia, centering on the existing location. The university was established upon a concept of Premier Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Premier further indicated that he had allocated the land in Kalamatiyana to establish the university during his tenure as the Fisheries Minister. Prime Minister mentioned that the development process of the university had been completely stalled due to the attempts taken by the ministers of the previous government to shift the university to their respective areas. The Prime Minister instructed the relevant ministers and officials to take steps to mitigate the difficulties in carrying out professional and degree courses under limited space facilities. Premier further indicated that under the new government's vision, the aim should be to supply skilled workers and professionals in the fields of fisheries, maritime affairs, naval engineering and marine science to the local and foreign job markets. Vice-Chancellor of the Ocean University, Professor Nalin Ratnayaka, ministers and officials were also present at the occasion.
In the meantime, former Sri Lanka Army Commander, retired General Mahesh Senanayake says that failure to involve Sri Lanka Army in the investigations conducted on the extremists and failure to prioritize the intelligence reports provided by the Sri Lanka Army have been a major reason behind the Easter Sunday terrorist attack. He made these remarks while recording a statement before the Commission for the first time yesterday. The former Sri Lanka Army commander recorded his statement via online video technology as he is currently in Dubai due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Responding to a query raised by the State Council over the ISIS terrorists and the inclusion of Sri Lanka into their map, former Sri Lanka Army commander said that he was in Dubai since 2010, which enabled him to connect with Middle Eastern countries including Libya. He said he had a hunch that Sri Lanka was prone to face the terrorist threat which was dominating the world. He said that he learned that Sri Lanka was part of their map before becoming the commander of Sri Lanka Army. Therefore, he said he knew that Sri Lanka faced a potential threat and such extremist organizations were already established in the country prior to 2015. The former Sri Lanka Army commander said that the Sri Lanka Army Intelligence Director Board had updated him over Zahran Hashim and National Tawhid Jamaat organization, and he said that he knew about Zahran when he was the commander of Jaffna. The former army commander said that reports over the activities of Zahran have been submitted to the Sri Lanka Army Director Board, Security Council and Intelligence Coordination meetings by the Sri Lanka Army Intelligence Chief for several years. He also said that the Army has submitted the reports on the assistance extended by a brother of former Minister Rishad Baduri to flee to India on a boat to the National Intelligence Chief as well. Therefore, he said that they expected the law enforcing authorities would take necessary initiatives in this regard. He also emphasized that the competition between state intelligence services and army intelligence services obstructed the communication of information between the organizations. He said that both former secretaries to the defense were informed over the situation, yet no sufficient response was extended by them. Recording the statement, the former army commander also said that concerns were raised between Sri Lanka Army Intelligence Service and the special bureaus of the police, including the CID and TID, during the investigations. He said that after sharing information gathered by the Sri Lanka Army Intelligence Services, these agencies pushed away the Army Intelligence without allowing them to be a part of the investigations. He said that he requested former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando to allow Sri Lanka Army Intelligence to be part of the investigations, yet the opportunity was not granted, though the Sri Lanka Army had special skills in this regard. He said that they continued to provide intelligence reports, though former IGP Pujit Jayasundara, Ravi Senaviratne of CID, Nalaka De Silva of TID, Varuna Jayasundara, Nilantha Jayawardena of SIS and Cicero Mendes of CNI failed to give priority for these reports. He added that such concerns were a major reason behind the Easter Sunday terrorist attack. Responding to a query raised over former Prime Minister's involvement in the process to curb the extremism in the country, the former army commander said that the former premier was not part of the Security Council to obtain his views in this regard. He added that the former premier would leave the council meetings after a few minutes, followed by Minister Sagala Ratnayaka. Speaking on the official relationship between former President Maithripala Sirisena and former IGP Pujit Vijayasundara, the former army commander said that in the latter part of 2018, he observed a drift between the former president and the former IGP following the alleged life threat against the former president and subsequent appearance of an individual named Namal Kumara. He said that the Police Terrorism Investigation Division and its then head, DIG Nalaka De Silva, were behind this individual while responding to a query raised by the Commission over the entities behind the individual Namal Kumara. He said that the biggest concern related to the attack was the failure to communicate necessary information among the relevant services. He said that the police and Sri Lanka Army had no issue among each other, but divisions occurred due to political interferences. Meanwhile, parliamentarian Sivanesadare Chandrakant alias Pillayan, who is currently in remand custody, arrived at the Presidential Commission to record a statement. He was brought to the Commission by prison officers this morning. However, in accordance to a request of the parliamentarian, the statement was recorded without the presence of media.
In more stories from home, Sri Lanka Department of Examinations has issued a series of guidelines for the students and parents with regard to Grade 5 scholarship examination and the GCE Advanced Level examination. Special hotline numbers have also been introduced to inform necessary health guidelines related to COVID-19 as well as discrepancies in the examination process. The Grade 5 scholarship examination is set to be held on the 11th of October and 331,694 applicants are expected to sit for the examination. A total of 2,936 examination centers have been established, while 496 coordination centers have been initiated. The first examination paper will commence at 9:30 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. The candidates should be seated in the examination centers by 9 a.m. The examination department has said that candidates should arrive at the examination centers at 8:45 a.m. as the health protective measures will be conducted in the centers due to the COVID-19 threat. An admission card has been issued for each candidate. The candidates should wear their relevant examination numbers on the left-hand side of their attire. A pencil or a blue or black pen can be used when answering the paper. The examination department has informed the parents to take their children to the examination centers while adhering to the instructions given by the schools. The parents would not be allowed to enter the examination center premises at all times. Accordingly, the examination department has said that it is suitable to provide the children with a short meal and a water bottle before entering the examination center premises. The GCE Advanced Level examination is scheduled to be held on the 12th of October and 362,824 applicants are expected to sit for the examination. A total of 2,648 examination centers have been established, while 316 coordination centers have been initiated. The first examination paper will commence at 8:30 a.m. The examination department has said that candidates should arrive to the examination centers at 7:30 a.m. as the health protective measures will be conducted in the centers due to the COVID-19 threat. To confirm the identity of the candidate, the examination admission card along with the national identity card or valid passport or valid driving license, should be presented to sit for the examination. Department of Examinations has informed the candidates to check their examination admission cards thoroughly before entering the examination centers. Instructions have been directed to be attentive on the applied subjects for the examination, subject number, medium of language and the certification of the signature, and if any change, the applicants should immediately inform the examination department. The hotline numbers for the inquiries on the grade 5 scholarship examination and advanced level examination is 1911. The telephone numbers of the school examination organizing and results branch 011 278 4208, 011 278 4537, 011 318 8350 and 011 314 0314 will also be opened for the public. Meanwhile, inquiries can also be made through the telephone numbers of the Examination Commissioner General's Office 011 278 5211 and 011 278 5212. Permission has been granted to use normal calculators for subjects, namely number 33 Accounting, number 65 Engineering Technology, number 66 Biodiversity Technology and number 67 Technology for Science during this year's GCE Advanced Level Examination. The examination department has said that a special attention will be directed to monitor on the usage of unauthorized electronic equipment, including smartwatches and mobile phones, to carry out examination violations. Steps have been taken to appoint additional assistant invigilators in each examination center to monitor examination violations and the adherence of health guidelines for the first time in history.
Parliamentarian and President's Counsel Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and former Minister Sagala Ratnayake were responsible in taking all decisions relevant to the anti-corruption process during the previous Yahapalana government. He made these remarks while recording a statement before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on Political Victimization today. Parliamentarian Vijayadasa Rajapaksa appeared before the Commission today in accordance to a complaint lodged by former Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, Piyadasa Kudabalake, claiming that he was politically victimized after a case was filed against him in the permanent trial at bar over alleged misuse of funds and money laundering charges upon the recommendations of the Anti-Corruption Committee. The parliamentarian agreed to the Commission inquiry to replace the statement recorded for the complaint of the former Secretary to the Economic Development Ministry relevant to the complaint of the former Managing Director of Insurance Corporation. Recording the statement before the Commission, Parliamentarian Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that he had not attended any of the committee meetings, even though his name has been included in the name list of the members of the Anti-Corruption Committee. Responding to a query raised by the Commission, he said that he was also not aware of the committee proceedings. He had not taken part in the committee meetings. He said that Yahapalana government had kept him away from their initiatives or proceedings due to the conflicts between him and the government instigated within 3 weeks upon the formation of the government. Sharing his remarks over the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division, Parliamentarian Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that the Financial Investigation Division was not a legal entity in accordance to the police ordinance. He said that he had suggested the political leadership to establish a separate unit under the Criminal Investigation Department and to direct the complaints to this unit, since the establishment division had a political representation and may affect the trustworthiness of the law and judiciary. He added that his proposal was rejected by the political leadership of the previous government. He also said that the committee was comprised of politicians and their supporters. He added that the committee was not an independent entity and failed to follow his instructions as the police was not under his purview. Therefore, he said that all decisions relevant to the committee were taken by former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Minister Sagala Ratnayake. Responding to a query raised by the committee, Parliamentarian Vijayadasa Rajapaksa agreed that a certain group had been targeted through the complaints lodged with the Anti-Corruption Committee, considering the names in the complaints including Vas Gunawardena.
The Attorney General has filed indictments against the captain of the New Diamond crude oil tanker, which caught fire near the Sri Lankan waters recently, at the Colombo High Court today. The captain of the fire-stricken oil tanker Stereo Elias is a Greek national. He has been charged on the alleged failure to take necessary measures to suppress the fire on board the ship. He has also been charged for the failure to activate the automatic fire suppressing system equipped in the ship and failure to take measures in informing the relevant officers and the institutions regarding the fire.
Today marks the National Pension Day. A press conference was held at the Department of Government Information in this regard. Minister of Mass Media Keheliya Rabukwala, Minister Janaka Bandara Tennakone, the Postmaster General Ranjit Aryadasa and several officials of the Pensions Department were also present at the conference. A commemorative stamp and a first day cover were also released for the fulfillment of 50 years for the development of the Department of Pensions. Meanwhile, the launching of the book Sri Lanka Vishrama Granthaya and the introduction of the proposal Samata Vishrama took place at the occasion.
And that's all the stories for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.